Hello! Today we will be making sourdough discard cinnamon bread, following the recipe from Farmhouse on Boone. Link will be in the description below, so let's get started. I have my oven preheating to 350, and I'll melt 8 tablespoons of butter in the microwave. I like to cut my butter up into smaller pieces so it will melt faster. They say you can prepare your loaf pan with butter, coconut oil, or line it with parchment paper, but my loaf pan is still new and does a very good job of not sticking, so I'm going to leave it without coating it in any sort of way. So I microwaved the butter for 30 seconds, and I'll stir it to melt it fully. It's not very warm, so I can add it to my wet ingredients immediately. If yours is too hot, just set it aside to cool down until it's warm. I'll use my spatula to get as much butter as I can. We love butter, it's so tasty. Then we'll add 1 cup of sugar. You can use a mixing bowl, but I'm going to do it by hand. Three-fourths of a cup sourdough discard, which mine is a little runny, but that should be fine. One teaspoon of vanilla. Oop. I'm not going to measure mine. I like vanilla, so if I add more, then I'm okay with that. So we'll mix it all together, and we still need 2 large eggs. Okay, I like breaking the eggs in a separate bowl just in case I get a shell. I'll add this to the bowl and then wash my hands. Okay, then we'll mix it all together. So I'll set the wet ingredients aside, and as for the dry ingredients, I'll do 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, or sorry, a half a teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon baking powder, a half a teaspoon salt, and lastly, 1 teaspoon cinnamon. Just make sure I get all the powder off. I'll mix the dry ingredients together with my fancy Christmas spoon. Now I'll gradually add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients and mix until just combined. You don't want to mix it too much. Again, you can use a stand mixer or a hand mixer. I'm just going to mix it by hand. And I'll switch to a stronger spatula. So that's pretty good. I have a nice little dough now. For the cinnamon mixture, use a half a cup of brown sugar and 1 tablespoon cinnamon. I'd like to make my own fresh brown sugar. Supposedly it's very easy to make and it'll prevent the sugar from getting hard and clumpy, as I will make a fresh batch as needed. Anyway, I'll add half the batter. I'll add the cinnamon, mix it up a little bit. Okay, I'll add half the batter to the loaf pan. It seems more like a dough than a batter, but we'll see how it turns out. I'll spread this out in the loaf pan. Then we'll sprinkle about 3/4 of the cinnamon mixture on top of this. And add the rest of the batter. I'll just kind of spread it a little bit. And add the rest of the cinnamon mixture. Seems like a lot. I probably won't add all of it. Then use a butter knife to make swirls. I'm guessing it's supposed to be more of a batter, but we'll see how it turns out. I'm not scraping the bottom of the pan just so I can avoid scratching my pan. I'll add a little bit more to the corners. We'll put this in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 60 to 70 minutes. And let's not forget to feed our sourdough starter. I'll add a little bit of water and a little bit of flour. Last time I added too much water and not enough flour. I'll mix it very well, and then I'll find a warm spot for it so it can do its thing. It doesn't matter how careful you try to be, a sourdough starter always seems to be very messy. So we'll mix it very well. As for the glaze, this recipe says to use 1 tablespoon water, about 1/8 of a tablespoon vanilla, boop, and 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. And then we'll mix it all up. Okay, so here is the final product. And we'll add the glaze. So let me know how you guys think of it. I think it was fairly tasty. The outside was a little dry, but the inside was pretty good. I know. Yeah, I want your eggs and you don't want me to have them. Are you getting a little broody, huh? I know.